Welcome to the Friday at 4 podcast series with your host Charles Luttrell and co-host Steve Kent.
Steve, good afternoon, buddy.
Good afternoon, Chuck. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good day
Yeah,
today. That's what counts.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, welcome back to Friday at 4.
Yeah, it is for somewhere.
4 o'clock somewhere. You're getting there. You're getting there. One of these
I'm
days, you're
I'm
going to
figuring it
nail
out.
it.
Eventually, I'll get there. Okay.
Pretty much you're going to nail it. So, topic of discussion today. Shall I present this?
Sure.
Oh, okay. The psychology of money. I love this topic. So, what about people's emotional connection with money can impact their spending and saving habits. Am I correct?
In my view, you are correct. And
Yeah.
there are, from my experience, two completely different points of view to the psychology of money. One point is, and I don't want to say it's the majority or minority because I don't know, but it's one point of view that says, I need money. I want money. I must have money. I don't care how I get the money. Common theme money. You heard that, right? Okay.
Common theme money.
Common theme is money. Um, but money rules their world. So they have to have it to buy material things. And again,
Yeah.
there's no right or wrong to what we're talking about. This is purely an opinion. Again, as we say every week, this is our opinion. It's unscripted. So, okay. But
I don't know about you, but I don't have a psychology degree, so this is just something we thought about. So,
correct. I don't have a psychology degree either. But
but
okay. But again, it's opinions. So,
we're
okay.
going to get psychological here.
We're giving a psychology of opinions. How's that? Okay.
There you go. I
Okay.
love it.
So the one side is I will work, beg, borrow, steal, whatever it takes, hopefully legally, but I will get whatever I have to do to get that money because I need the place to live, the specific place to live, the specific car, the clothes, the boyfriend, girlfriend, or let's call it significant other.
Right.
Um, and I'll do whatever I have to do to get the money because money rules what I do. I wake up in the morning, I think of money. I have dreams about money. I do, you know, and it doesn't matter what it takes. I must have it. It rules where I go out, what I do, what I eat, what I drink, what I wear, and again, that's cool. That's one set of opinions. The other set of opinions says, yes, money is important because you have to pay bills. But there's a whole group of people out there, and I know a number of them, who say money is just a tool. It's how do you use that money that really counts. And if I live in a so-so place and I drive a so-so car, the technical term so-so, if I wear, these so-so clothes and eat in a decent place and stuff, I'm okay because I'm using that money in other ways to help other people. And again, neither way is right or wrong, but there's two different ways of how people view it, how they get it, what they do with it. Some people say, I want to accumulate everything that I have, and I'm giving up the corporate world, I'm giving up the work world at 30, 40, 50 years old, whatever that is. And I need to do everything I can to amass this huge amount so that I can do for the rest of my life what I want to do, not what other people tell me to do. And there's some validity to that, let me tell you. Okay. Um, but then the other side says, I don't care. I'm still going to try to make the money. I'm still going to do my best because I have morals and ethics. But in the end, I'm giving it because I want to make other people. So it's similar to like, um, and I hate to use this religion side of it, but there are some religions, and again, I'm not drawing any judgments. I'm just making a statement
Sure.
that, like when you go to church, they pass around the plate or they tithe, or, and again, I'm not heavily religious, so again, I apologize if my terminology is wrong, but they those people give back because they want to help others, and they're willing to forego the big house, the big car, the big fancy something to help others. And there's a lot to be said for that too, because we all know the government cannot and will not, for X number of reasons, take care of everybody and all their needs. It's just not going to happen. So that means that people have to start doing for themselves. So those who can, yeah, go out, bust it loose, make all the money, buy all the fancy things. And again, that's okay. But for those who can't, for whatever reasons, and I'm not judging anybody, but for those
Sure.
who can't, they need that little extra help. And that's why people who donate, um, in whatever shape or form that means, I give them credit because they're foregoing something for themselves to help others. And frankly, I think that that's great. Um, I don't want to get too deep into my next statement because that's not really why we're here. But we've talked before about the initiative I'm starting with financial literacy. I'm not getting paid for it, but I am going out with a bigger organization, and we're out to teach people how to do things that they were never taught. They're
Right.
all good people. I believe everybody's
Mhm.
a good person at heart. What you do afterwards is another story, but everybody starts out as a good person. But if you're never taught to ride a bicycle, you're never going to ride it. If you're never taught to swim and they throw you in the deep end of a pool, you're likely going to have a problem. But that's the issue with finances and with money. If people are never taught how it works, what to do, what not to do, and again, what you do is up to you, but if you're never taught and don't have the options or the knowledge to choose what to do, you're almost guaranteed not to have and not to live the best life you could. So that's kind of where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
But to bring it back here, because again, that's not really the topic of this, I just wanted to put that as an example.
Sure.
I give people a lot of credit for donating. You look at like Gates, Bill Gates and some other very, very wealthy people. They're donating, more so Melinda Gates is his wife. They're donating huge, huge chunks of money. Now, you could sit there and say the fact that they ended up with hundreds of billions of dollars is ridiculous. I agree with that because how much is enough? But again, my opinion. But at least now they're starting to give back. They're giving back to different people, different communities, different countries to try to help people have a better life. And I think that's enviable. I really think people should do that. So the psychology is really, how do you value it? How do you accumulate it? What do you do with it? Again, there's no right or wrong. It's just two completely different sets of opinions.
Sure. And on the other side of that too, right? Something you didn't touch on that, without going off a tangent and a deep end and our story of why I felt this way. But as a younger man, things that happened in my life, I had the opinion of, well, I'm going to die anyway, so I'm just going to spend all my money. I'll not saving nothing because I'm going to die. Why leave my money here for other people to spend? I'm just going to spend it all. And that's a whole nother type of mindset, right? I mean,
Right.
there are people that probably still
Mhm.
think like that. And,
Yeah, there are.
I grew out of that, but that's still a mindset that people
Hmm.
say, if I got it, spend it because I'm not going to be here. Who knows how long I'll be here? I'm going to get rid
Correct.
of all of it. Right.
Correct. And again, two sides of the coin.
Yeah.
One side is exactly what you said. It's me. I'm going to earn it. I'm going to spend every penny and then some because I don't care.
Sure.
I'm not going to be here. And
and
again,
I don't care.
that if that's
Yeah,
the opinion, that's okay. Again, I'm not knocking anybody. The
yeah,
other side of that coin says, I'm going to earn it. I'm going to have all this big chunk of money, but I've built a lifestyle with others. Could be a partner, could be kids, maybe a still living home with parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins. So that opinion says, yeah, I can't take it with me, but can I make other people's lives easier when I go? And that, and again, I don't want to get into this, but the example in here fits. That's one of the reasons a lot of people buy life insurance. And again, this is not a pitch for life, so please don't take it that way. But in the context of this conversation, if you have that opinion of, I've spent what I can spend, I'm happy, I've lived a good life. If I can leave that legacy to my partner, my kids, my grandkids, my parents, I'm going to do that. And a lot of
yeah,
people use it for that purpose. I'm paying for it. You're not getting a penny, but the day I die, yeah, you're going to be okay.
yeah. And I think that's what the mind shift for me was when I became a dad. Not once
Mhm.
but twice,
Yep.
and that led me to look, I've got some responsibilities now. Let me let me see what I
Hmm.
can do to leave
Right.
something to my kids. So that was my change.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
in a world that's really getting crazier and crazier
By the
and
minute, shall I
more
say?
competitive, it's important that at least again, my opinion, it's important that you help people along. You show them maybe what you're doing to get money so they can copy it. And again, my hope is that it's legal, but again, I hold no judgments here. Okay. But but help somebody else. So when you're either still alive but not in their life, or when you do go, at least they can still move forward. They're not
Right.
behind the eight ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, right? Is so many people, all of our lives are behind the eight ball consistently, generation after generation, and we just can't get forward, you
Correct.
know?
Correct.
And that's something that I wanted to do was try to push, my generation with my kids,
Hmm.
be one who, number one, you don't have to live like that once it stops at my generation. you know, Kids will be set and they'll be happy when I do pass. So they'll have something. That's the goal. Still working on it, but that's the
Yeah.
goal. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
goal. It's a hefty goal, but it's
Yep.
something that I'm working for. Working towards. Yeah.
So again, I give you, I'm full of this today. Two sides of the coin. I've said this like four
Yeah.
times already. Um, there are people at whatever age who have been educated, who have the experience, who teach their kids and their grandkids. And that's awesome because they're passing down hopefully good habits. People start young enough and they're set when they get older.
Yeah.
But the other side to that is if your parents never understood it and never taught you, then you can't teach your kids or grandkids. So that challenging situation continues generation after generation.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important, again, with the financial literacy thing that I'm doing, it's so important that everybody, no matter who you are, has the opportunity to learn what's out there. And it doesn't have to be fancy, complicated nonsense. It doesn't. It could be some very basic things.
Yeah.
Where do you save money? Um, how to use credit cards that won't get you in trouble. And then you end up paying for the rest of your life for a purchase you made 10 years ago. There are basic things that people need to know that they don't. And again, I believe people are good people, but if you're never taught, how do you know what questions to ask, who to talk to? Because you never knew it, so it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's the
That's true.
situation that's got to be changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the second part of this discussion we're having is just that, right? So what do we do? What are some ways that we can build a healthier financial mindset? You know?
So I think the first thing and again, there's a whole bunch of things, but the first thing I'm thinking of is they have to start teaching finan basic financial literacy in school.
I agree.
Start with the younger generation. Basic stuff in grade school, then make it a little bit more in middle school, then a little bit more in high school. Build it because there's so much out there that it's just too much to absorb at any age. So do a little and a little and a little. By the time they get out of high school, they understand money. They understand how to balance a checkbook. They understand about credit cards. They understand different types of interest. There's basic things that will help them for their life. So I think
Especially
it
from
starts in
purchasing a
school.
car to purchasing a house to
Yep,
looking at the credit card to
yep,
talk about, because all that right there, that's
yep.
enough right there. Credit
It
cards,
is. It
car and a
is.
house is
Car
enough
in a
to
house.
make your mind explode,
Yep.
you know?
Yep. How to
Yeah,
save for your future, why it's so important to save for your future. I
yeah.
remember, well, I'll come back to that. So the first thing is school, not high school, but school. Then you get into college, reinforce it and make it a little harder. Maybe there should be a project because I know there's all different kinds of courses you can take in college. I've been there much too long in college before I got my degree, much too long. But again, different story. Um, but there's got to be when people are in college. I from what I remember because it was a long time ago. There's your major and there's your general education courses. In that gen ed set, there's should be one class, and I believe there is a basic finance 101. In that course, teach your basic stuff. So if you had it before when you were younger, it's a refresher. If you didn't have it, you're learning something new. Again, before you go out to the real world. So it's there. I think libraries need to have ongoing, and all this stuff should be free. Libraries, ongoing courses, um, continuing education for adults. All this stuff should be available to people. Just like there's hotlines that you can call. Somebody's in trouble, call. If you see a crime, call. You know, have one for finance. Hey, I'm thinking about buying something. Should I or shouldn't I? And of course, the person on the end of the line can't give an opinion, but they can ask the questions. Do you really need it or is it a nice to have?
Right.
If you buy it, how long before you have to pay it off? What's your income?
It's the
No,
APR,
yeah, no names mentioned so that, it
right?
keeps it private. But again, this stuff should be available to people. When I was really, really young, like way back when, um, I remember, oh, I couldn't have been more than 6, 7, 8 years old. I remember going to school, and once a week, the local bank came around and they gave you an envelope. And on the front of the envelope, you could write down how much money you were putting in. Now we're talking like 60 years ago. Yes, I'm old. We were talking 60 years ago. But, and when money was obviously worth a lot more than it is today. And I remember asking my parents, because I had no money. I'm 6, 7, 8 years old. I don't have a job, I was too young for paper routes, the whole bit. And I remember my parents giving me, some weeks it was 10 cents, some weeks it was 15 cents, some weeks it was a quarter, which was a big deal back then. It was for my
Yeah,
family, it was.
sure.
Um, and every so often you would get a printed one-page statement of how much money you had.
Mm.
And the purpose behind it was not because you were going to earn large amounts of money, not when you're putting in 10, 15, 20 cents a week. Okay. But the idea was get the mindset going to save. And the
Yeah.
statement was, look how much I'm accumulating. That even those 10, 15, 20 cents a week, look how much it's growing to. So imagine if you were older and could put money into some vehicle that grew at more than the 0.1% that you're getting. But
I was about to
imagine,
say that to you. I was about to
yeah,
say, was that back when banks were actually paying some kind of decent
yes,
return
it
on your
was.
money?
It was. That's when banks cared. Now they don't
Your
care.
15 cents, but it turned into 35 cents.
Right. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Right.
Yeah, but that's the point of get people into the mindset of saving even a little bit. So, like people say, I'm saving for college for my kids. Well, that's great. So, number one, when did you start saving? Because if you start saving when the kid's 14, by the time they go to college at 18, it's not going to amount to too much. So,
No, it
you need to
won't.
start earlier. You need to have stuff that's going to grow and not lose money in the market. You need to have a
Yeah.
good interest rate. Um, you need to be able to go to the right college. There's a lot of things that go into that that people are not aware of. And again, it goes back to that same thing of people are not educated, they're not informed. So that whole mindset will help prepare people for the future.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah,
That's so true because you don't know what you don't know, right? And
right.
if you don't know how to save, where to save, where to put money, you're never going to
Mhm.
save it because, well, I was never taught. So
Right.
let's just go spend that money and get 10 people this weekend. And hey, everybody coming over, I'm going to buy everybody a pizza. And there goes $100, and before you know it, you're broke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It, it's very tough at a young age to, again, especially if you've never been taught the
Yeah.
value of money, what to
Mhm.
buy, what not to buy. And we're not saying that you shouldn't buy anything. That's not the point. You can buy, you can spend, but take some percentage, which is different for everybody. Take
That's a whole
some,
other topic too, right? Of how to save and how to put the money together and where to put money and how to make sure you can survive and save.
yeah, that's another whole discussion.
Right.
But but for the purposes of this, the real quick statement is pick a percentage of what you earn, 5%, 10%, 15%, whatever that is. And when you get your money after taxes, take that percentage and put it away and spend the rest.
Yeah.
Pay yourself first.
Yep.
Bills will wait. Trust me, bills will wait. They're not going away.
They're
They're
not.
not.
They'll be knocking
Okay.
on the door every month.
They're not going away. Hello. Hi, Mr. Bill here. Are you
So
Chuck?
true.
Yeah. Here you go. Here's a bill for you.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good advice. I think this is a great topic. You know, I think money impacts everybody. And if you say it doesn't, you're lying to yourself
Correct.
because we
Correct.
all care about money. We all want money in some way or another because that's what makes the world go round.
Right.
So this topic of just change the mindset a little bit. And if you don't know the mindset, reach out to Steve. He can help you.
Yeah.
That's his avenue. That's what he
Yeah.
does.
And it's not hard. It's really not hard. Um,
I think the
it
hard part is
takes
discipline, right?
it takes discipline.
Discipline.
But if you
Yeah.
start small and put away, if you put away $5 a week, at the end of the year, you've got $250. Again, when I was young, um, I
15 cents.
remember, and I don't know if it's still around today, and I'm sure it is, but I remember people had like Christmas clubs.
Mhm.
And January, they took an envelope because back then, okay, so they took an envelope, and every Monday or every payday, whatever it was, they put a $5 bill or a $10 bill in the envelope. Didn't miss that much money because it's small. But at
Right.
the end of the year, when it came time to buying Christmas presents, all of a sudden you've got two, three, four, $500 found because that little bit every week. Now you get to the holidays, and if you can put yourself on a budget, this is the money in the envelope. That's all I can spend.
Yeah.
No more.
Yeah,
And
they call it
that's
Christmas in July now. That's the
whatever it's
big
called.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's
Yeah,
also, if you adopt that philosophy, you never get into credit card debt. At least for the Christmas holiday season, because
yeah,
you're paying the cash that you have, you're not charging and then having to pay it off at very high interest rates. That
right.
takes a big piece away from the debt that people are in because you
Yeah,
stay within your budget and it's cash out the door.
yep. So true.
Yeah.
Love it. Good advice.
Mhm.
Great advice. I mean, I know you're full of it. I know you got tons more financial advice. That's what you do. You know,
Yeah.
go ahead and do a little shout out for yourself here. And how do we reach you if we want your help?
So it's Steve at stevekentfs.com. FS is financial services.
Yes, sir. Love it. Yeah. Reach out. Steve's got tons of
And
advice.
that's me.
I love what
Yeah.
he does. That's why him and I talk all the time because,
Yeah.
he's a smart guy and
And let
help.
me just say one other thing. Every conversation that I have with somebody is confidential and there's no cost. There is
Wow.
no cost for me to sit down and talk with somebody and understand their situation and how I can potentially help them better that situation, whatever that means to the person. Doesn't matter what I want, it's what's important to them.
Right. It's impressive. Steve, thank you, man. I appreciate that. That's
Yeah.
good advice.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Have a good
letting
time.
people know how to reach out to you and get your advice and help. I love helping
Thank
for
you.
free. I mean, it's what more can we do, right? We want to help people, man, and
Great.
that's what we do, you know?
That's why we're here doing
Yep.
this. There's no charge for this. Again, it's two guys' opinions. We're not tied into any sponsors. So what we talk about is purely what we're talking about. It's our opinions. So
Yeah.
that's what I think makes this so valuable is we're not jaded in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. We're just two guys talking about the ideas that
Yeah.
we come up with and how we want to help people going forward.
Maybe we should change the name of this to just two guys. Nah,
Just
I
two
like Fridays at 4 better.
guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Friday at 4 is really cool.
Yeah,
I kind of like it,
I do.
because
I
it
do.
gives people a chance to come on if they want to come on and join us.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, we never really talk
Yeah.
about is, you're more than welcome to join us at 4 o'clock.
Sure.
Shoot an email, chuck at QACteam.com, and I
Hmm.
can send you the link or reach out to Steve. Steve can send you the link
Yeah.
and come
Yeah.
join us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you on the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love to have other people talking and
Hmm.
opinions with us. Love it.
Yep. Perfect.
Steve,
Sounds
thanks,
good.
Steve.
My
I
pleasure,
love
Chuck.
Yeah,
Pleasure as
man.
always.
Another great episode, man.
Yep.
We'll talk soon, buddy. Have a
You
great
got it.
rest of the day.
You too.
Thanks, man.
Because it's Friday
It's
at 4,
Friday at 4 o'clock somewhere.
4 o'clock somewhere. All right. Be good, Chuck.
You too, buddy. Take care,
You
man.
got it. Take care. Bye.
You've been watching the Friday at 4 podcast series with your host Charles Luttrell and co-host Steve Kent. Thanks for watching.